Aloha Ecamm fam. Today I'm going to show you a little bit more into Doc's studio. I always get questions. Everybody wants to see the studio tour, so we're going to do that today. I'm a little reluctant to do this because I always get blamed for people wanting to buy stuff that they don't need. So I'm going to tell you right now, nothing that I show you today you need. But if you want it, get it. Don't blame me. Make an adult decision. Also, the other reason why I'm mostly reluctant to show this is probably more of a laboratory instead of a studio because everything in here is constantly changing. I am making adjustments all the time as I'm testing products for you to see if they work for Ecamm, or companies send me things to get my input, or sometimes companies send me things because they just want to see if I can share it with you guys. So everything in here changes constantly. None of this is really set in stone, but let me walk you through my laboratory. Now, the first thing that I'm going to show you is going to be my lighting system. So let's get into lighting real quick. Mounted here on the ceiling is my key light. In this particular case, it's a 150 watt AMRAN. Sometimes it's a 200 watt NAND light. But the main thing is you want your key light to provide enough wattage to properly illuminate your face. A key light is the main light that's going to illuminate your face, hence the name key light. Now you notice on the front of mine, I have a 24-inch parabolic dome, and on that dome, I have a grid. The purpose of the grid is to illuminate me, but to let the light source fall off quickly outside of the fall off cone. So right outside the cone is not that bright. Inside the cone, bright as all get. And what that does is it allows me to illuminate my face without darkening my room. Opposite of that, there is a 60 watt fill light. Now this fills in the shadows on your face, and I have this in a 24-inch balloon because balloon sort of acts like the sun, and it just gives nice, soft, even light everywhere. And the same with the skirt. The skirt is designed to angle the light, or shape the light, as we say, directly on my face without it filling up the back of my room and ruining my look. This way I can stand here and be properly illuminated, but the back of my room isn't so bright that these white lights are affecting the colorway that I stick there in the back. Also, with my color lights in the back, I can switch them on and off if I want it darker or brighter, so forth, so on, etc. Now let me show you what I'm using to fill that backlight. Over here is another Cobb light. Cobb stands for circuit on board, and this has a 18-inch parabolic dome, also with the grid. The grid makes it so that the purple doesn't spray everywhere, but exactly where I want it here in the back wall. So that allows me to change the back wall color from my desk just by making a couple minor adjustments. This particular type of light is known as a backlight or backfill light. Now, the lights that I have glowing all over the place, these are known as practicals. So I have a couple of 24-inch tubes that provide a little practical light on my back shelf there. It lets my dock pops, well, pop, no pun intended. I have my practical that's a lantern, that is an Amaran bulb that is also color controllable. And I use video lights. I don't use things like Philips Hue because they can cause problem. And even lighting up my 3D station, because it does provide extra ambiance in here, I have a couple of more tube lights because that does sort of leak over my shoulder when you see what's in my shoulders as I'm doing my thing. Down in my whiskey collection, I have another practical light because it also shows up from my shoulder. Now, as we get up here to the ceiling, I have another wash light that is filling the back wall with that same color purple. They're all set to 288 on the built-in color, but you'll see one more small 17-inch dome that has another 60 watt light that acts as a hair light, and that back fills my head. So when I'm sitting at my desk, I get separated from the background. That explains the lighting. Now let's get into some of the tech. This is the brain center, the main center of the brain center. Down here in the bottom, there is an M1 Mac Studio with 48 gigs of RAM and 2 terabyte drive. You see a couple of CalDigits over there. Normally there's 2 CalDigit Thunderbolt hubs and 1 CalDigit dock, but right now one of the other ones is in my suitcase. And then I have a couple of external drives there. I have the world's fastest reader. You'll see a DaVinci Resolve speed reader. And then there is the Shure SM7B that handles all the audio, that then in turn goes into this Rodecaster Duo. Now again, this Rodecaster Duo is sometimes a Rodecaster 2. It's sometimes a Mackie DLZ Creator, or Mackie DLZ Creator XS. I have all of the above. There's my keyboard that Paul hates so much. There are my two Stream Decks, and then for an additional face cam, I have the Insta360 Go 3S, and that can easily be swapped out with the Osmo Action 5 Pro over there. As for camera, we have the Sony ZV1. The ZV1 is pushing 4K out of the HDMI. That red cable is powering it because I don't like dummy batteries. And the lens on here is a Tamron 17-28 f2.8 Di3 RXD, and that allows me to get a lot of adjustments coming through my Elgato teleprompter. What you can't see that's hiding inside the teleprompter is a Nisi 1/8 stop Black Pro Mist. If you're going to buy a Black Pro Mist filter, you don't have to be crazy like me and buy the super dope Nishi glass. You can actually buy any because it is a trash matte filter. It's designed to add some degradation to your image. Now I have a LG 32-inch monitor as my main monitor, and then I have a 28-inch square monitor, which basically acts as two 24-inch monitors stacked onto each other. That's known as the LG Dual Up. And right above this, for my overhead shot right now, it's a Sony FDR AX1000 because I just find old school camcorders to just work. This is a 4K camcorder. It's really awesome. Over here, as my other ancillary camera, I have an Osbot Tail Air, and that is connected via HDMI. And all of those HDMI sources go down in here into the Blackmagic Decklink Quad. That allows me to put in quad cameras, aka 4 cameras, at 4K over a Thunderbolt cable without having to worry about USB signal dropping. And of course, I have my KR studio monitors that allow me to hear whenever I'm doing something. And of course, there's Raider Nation and, well, Notre Dame's. You know, in the Ecamm game, we're always preaching you got to be consistent with your content, whether it's your live content or your pre-recorded content. I'm going to show you one of the things that's my secret sauce to staying hella consistent with my content. Let me show you what it is. This is my vertical content creation station, meaning the station is vertical. I can shoot content whether horizontal or vertical. So what we have here is a little light just to add a little pop to my face because my room, I have a light off to the side. But this is a Fujifilm XM5 that is connected on top of a iFootage RB400. That allows me to have a round base flat stand that I can just pick up and place anywhere in my studio. Everything is being powered by a small rig VB99 Pro V-mount battery that just went crooked. And then I have a Rode NTG video for the audio source. I have a monitor so I can see what I'm doing. And I also can record directly into my phone using this guy. If I want to collect better audio with my phone, I'll slap a Shure microphone right there in the bottom, and then I'm good to go. But whenever it's time to make short content, I just got to hit the button and start making content, because if you set yourself up to shoot content without any friction, you're always able to get out good, consistent content that your audience not only wants to see, but are waiting to see. So that is my vertical rig. And with that, I can just pop it, drop it right over here into my Mac Mini M4 station and get it cut up real quick. This is a dual monitor by JS Aux Mac Mini M4 and a 4TB bottom. You'll see there's my other Fuji camera and my other Canon camera. And then I have these IKEA things just to keep everything organized. And I am slowly working on building this SCADAS board so that I can have all of my equipment just ready to go at any time, whether it's gaff tape or Mandalorian. You never know what you need. Also, one last thing I have is a back of the house scenes camera that is a 2K wireless camera from Nearstream. That, my friends, is a look inside the laboratory. If you have any questions, comments, feedbacks, you want to know more, let me know. I'm more than happy to share with you some of the things that I do or what I think might be good for you. But that's a look inside of Doc's studio. Now get out. I got work to do.